It's time for Travel Thursday. This is the segment every week where we help you dream a little bit. Travel is something that you generally spend money on once every year. And now that the pandemic is out of the way, you can actually get started on ticking stuff off your bucket list. Joining me now on this program is Anindita Chatterjee, the founder of Travel Chatter. Thanks so much, Anindita, for taking the time. And we're talking about a couple of places in Poland. We've got Krakow as well as Warsaw. What can you tell us about these places?
Hi, Alex. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. Poland is a great country, and I would recommend everybody to visit Poland. Warsaw and Krakow, again, are the biggest cities, the capital city, and it's really, really pretty. So Poland happens to be my 75th country. And, I was a little reluctant before going to Poland because, of course, we all know the history of Poland is quite depressing, right? I mean, with the World War II and all the things that happened there, I was reluctant. Should I actually choose Poland as my 75th country because it's a big milestone? But once I went there, I was so glad I chose that country to be my 75th because it is totally stunning. So Krakow is definitely one of the cities you must have on your list. The old town of Krakow. So we know in Europe, all the cities have these old towns with the cobblestone streets and very, very nice restaurants. But Krakow Old Town is clearly one of the best I have seen in Europe, and especially in Eastern Europe. And it's just very, very underrated, I feel, but very pretty. Like, it has so many restaurants you can choose for. Polish food, again, is to die for. The most popular Polish food is pierogi, which are actually dumplings. They are dumplings which are stuffed with meat, with cabbage, with chocolate, etc. So you can just choose. Every restaurant there serves that dish. There's horse riding. There's just live music, live activities that's happening all across the old town. So if you're visiting Krakow, you can definitely spend at least 2 days in the city just exploring the old town. Other than that, in Krakow, there are a few other things to do, which is going to the Cloth Hall. Now, the Cloth Hall is a place that was built centuries back, and it is exactly like what it was, and it's right in the middle of Old Town. All of us have watched the movie Schindler's List. Now, Schindler's factory is in Krakow. So when you're in Krakow, you must visit the factory as well. A very unique thing in Krakow was you can do sightseeing in the city in a golf cart. And again, the costs is very inexpensive. Poland is far, far more inexpensive than any of the Western Europe counterparts. A 3 hours ride in a golf cart costs somewhere around 1,500 rupees. And they'll basically take you through the entire history, and it's a wonderful thing. So that's again one thing that everyone should opt for. Krakow is situated right next to Vitsula River. You can go for a cruise on Vitsula River. You can go to the Jewish district. They have a very nice Jewish district, which is pretty happening and full of restaurants again. There are synagogues that you can go to. And two very interesting things in Krakow, which I have to tell you all about, is, of course, the salt mine. So there's a place called the Wierzyszka Salt Mine, which is 135 meters under the ground. So you actually visit the mine and you see how the workers used to work, of course, years back. And it is just really, really fascinating to be 135 meters deep under the ground and walk in the mine. And of course, again, Auschwitz concentration camp. You all, of course, know about the World War II and everything that happened there. While, of course, the day you visit Auschwitz is extremely depressing because it is the worst thing to have happened in the mankind of in human mankind, like, in the history of all the history that we know of. I mean, it's very, very depressing. But again, to pay respect to all the Jews that were killed and everything that happened there, a day trip to the Auschwitz concentration camp is something I would totally recommend.
Okay. Now, we've discussed a couple of places, but having said that, before we get to a few more things that I'd like to hear about, what is the best time to go to Poland? What do you need to bear in mind in terms of visa requirements? How much time should you ideally spend there? And what budget would you suggest you should keep?
Okay. So Poland, I think any place in Europe, of course, the best time to go is summer. A lot of people prefer going to Europe in June, July, August. But now, obviously, since I have traveled almost everywhere in Europe, I just think June, July, August is extremely crowded and very hot. So if you think that you love the crowds and you're good with the really, really hot weather, like just how it's in India, then of course, June, July, August would be the best. But my personal recommendation would be to go sometime in September or in May. May and September are the best times. After that, again, of course, it becomes really cold unless you really enjoy cold weather. So yeah, that would be the best time to go. And as far as costs are concerned, so like I mentioned, all the things that is there to do in Krakow. I think somewhere the air tickets, let me just break down the cost. The air tickets from Mumbai, if you're flying to Warsaw, you can either take Lufthansa or you take LOT Polish. Lufthansa, of course, will fly via Germany. And the round trip fare could cost anywhere between 60 to 70,000 rupees. If you book well in advance, and you can get a really good deal within 50 to 55K as well. But I'm talking about booking like 3 to 4 months in advance, maybe. And I flew from Italy. So I was already in Europe. I flew from Italy to Krakow, and that worked out to be somewhere around 20 to 25,000 rupees. So yes, if you are doing a Europe trip, then you can definitely combine Poland with any other country that you're visiting. And then, of course, the entire cost is much more economical than flying all the way from Mumbai or anywhere in India.
Fantastic. And the duration of the trip, Anindita, you've mentioned a few things that you should absolutely do. How much time should you normally spend? And I know that you said that you can club it with something, but assume that you're going only to Poland. How much time should you spend there?
A week to 10 days. So even if you're clubbing it with another country, I think a week minimum is required. And any country that you go to, a week is a minimum time frame that you're required to see the place. But yeah, a week to 10 days is good enough. Like I said, I did 2 places, Krakow and Warsaw, in terms of the cities. And I did a lot of day trips from Krakow. So the salt mine and Auschwitz, they were all day trips. A week to 10 days, I think, is good enough. And again, as far as costs of staying is concerned, which I didn't speak about, now Airbnb is really, really inexpensive in Poland. We got a 2-bedroom apartment right at the city center for 4,500 rupees a night. And it was fantastic. So Airbnb is definitely what you should opt for. And I have a 10-month-old baby with who I travel with. So for me, having a kitchen is imperative in an Airbnb. So all the people who are traveling with their babies offer an Airbnb with a kitchen so that, you can at times cook healthy meals yourself. And so Airbnb is definitely the best thing to do as far as Poland is concerned.
Yeah, okay. So I think we've covered all of the bases, Anindita, and you've painted a lovely picture of all of the things that you can do, and certainly something that I'm going to consider doing. Eastern Europe is, I think, unexplored largely, and I think we should do more of those trips as well. But thank you so much for taking the time. Pleasure speaking with you as always.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.